This is clear proof of the external existence of Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He. Logos. That's the Greek word that is given to describe the existence of Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He at the beginning. And it is divine intelligence. The word is divine intelligence. Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He originated everything that is. And then he became the Word, which is the expression that explains that intelligence. It explains that intelligence, which is undescribably, or undescribable, really, which is absolutely undescribable, except through the revelation of Yud-He-Wav-He and the Scriptures. For the invisible things of Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He, from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that you are without excuse. Before there was any beginning, the Word had been, and the Word has been toward Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He, and Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He has been the Word. And the Word becomes flesh at the will of Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He. Therefore, Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He, at any particular time of his choice, becomes a physical being. Thus, Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He, his continuing existence is in a new state or body. No matter when I choose a body, that existence just simply continues. It does not begin with nor end with a particular body. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. Some say, you are only 57 years old, and you have seen Abraham? Truly, truly, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. I have always existed, and always will exist. I and my Father are one. And now, O my Father Yud-He-Wav-He, glorify me with your own self, with the glory which I had with you before the world was, excuse me. Glorify me with your own self, with the glory which I had with you before the world was, and before the Word was made manifest for men to see, to know, to understand. For truly, Yud-He-Wav-He, Bethel Sophie Yud-He-Wav-He is the personal manifestation of Yud-He-Wav-He to man. You that can see me has seen the Father Yud-He-Wav-He. Do you believe that I am in the Father Yud-He-Wav-He and the Father Yud-He-Wav-He in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father Yud-He-Wav-He that dwells in me, he does the works. Believe me that I am in Yud-He-Wav-He and Yud-He-Wav-He in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake. You are a people that hear, but understand not, and indeed have eyes to see, but perceive not. However, the holy seed shall return to Yud-He-Wav-He. Shama, Shin, Mem, Ayin, also means to hear with attention or obedience, to give undivided listening attention, to hear spiritually. When you hear the words of Yudhe and see the vision of the Almighty Yudhe, you become a witness to the miraculous wonders taught through our feast. Our holy feast teaches us to hear cases as judges. That is, to examine the merits of a case, to render a just decision. That is an extremely important bit of information that you must take into your heart, is that our holy feast teach us to hear cases as judges. You must identify wise men in the law of Yuhewave and the knowledge of their holy names and understanding. They must have understanding and be known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. So I will take the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and make them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes. And I charge your judges at this time, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is among you, regardless of race or color. You shall not respect persons in judgment, but you shall hear the small as the great. You shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is Yudhewave's through his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments. And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. And I command you at this time to hear and obey all the laws of Yudhewave and all the things you should do. The laws of Yudhewave is our foundation, and the laws of Yudhewave, they are our success forever. Our holy feast teaches us to understand what one has heard, to obey and give heed to what we hear of Yudhewave. And unto Adam, Yudhewave said, because you have listened unto the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of good and evil, of which I commanded you not to eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow shall you eat of it all the days of your life. In another instance, Yudhewave said, in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. You heard and you obeyed. Our forefathers were the first judges of the earth. Our holy feast teaches us the qualities of a judge. Example in the word, listen now unto my voice. I will give you counsel, and Yudhewave shall be with you. Be for the people to Godward with compassion, that you may bring the cause unto Yudhewave. And you shall teach them ordinances and laws, and you shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, you shall provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Yudhewave, men of truth, hating covetousness. Place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s and rulers of 10s, and let them judge the people at all seasons. Moses took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that Yudhewave has said will we do and be obedient. Yudhewave Yudhe said, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not listen unto my words, which Yudhe Bethlehem Sophia Yudhe shall speak in my name, Yudhe, I will require it of him. Be strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the law, as Yudhe has commanded you. Turn not from the law of Yudhe to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wheresoever you go. This book of the law of Yudhe shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. The call to courage, Kazak Zaymas, is really a call to faith. Believing the promises of Yudhe will lead both to courage and to obedience to the law of Yudhe, which results in faith in Yudhe. Why? Because all of history proves that Yudhe always fulfills his promises. All of our holy feasts teach this marvelous lesson. Yudhe has always raised up judges which delivered our forefathers out of the hand of those that spoiled them, ruined them, enslaved them, oppressed them, and always punished our forefathers, Israel, when we transgressed Yudhe covenant, which he commanded our fathers to keep. I am building the kingdom of Yudhe, true holiness and righteousness. In order to enter, you must be willing to listen to Yudhe and obey his will. In order for our prayers to be heard, we must qualify ourselves. Yudhe Bethlehem Sophit, who is a pre-incarnate appearance, said to Daniel, "Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to chasten yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I am come for your words." I spoke to Daniel in a pre-incarnate appearance in another body. It was proven in the days of King Hezekiah that when we return to keeping the laws of Yudhe concerning our holy feasts, our voices will be heard and our prayers will be answered. You may read 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verses 1 through 27 for your proof. If my people which are called by my name, Yudhe, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin of breaking the laws of Yahweh and will heal them. The main idea of Shama, Shin, Mem, Ayin, is to perceive a message such as given in the cryptic messages in the laws of our holy feast. Thus says Yudhe, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yudhe Bethlehem Sophit, Yudhe of hosts, I am the first and I am the last. And beside me there is no God, and who, as I, shall call and shall declare it and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people, and the things that are coming and shall come, let them show unto them. Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have I not told you from that time, and have declared it? You are even my witnesses. Is there a God besides me? Yes, there is no God. I know not any. Our holy feast teaches that Yudhe-Wahbe Beth Nu Sophia Yudhe-Wahbe is the only God. I demand all the false gods of the world to assemble yourselves and come. Draw near together, you that are escaped of the nations. They have no knowledge that set up the gods. They have no knowledge that set up the gods of this world with their false images and pray unto a God that cannot save. You tell them and bring them near. Yes, let them take counsel together and answer. Who has declared this from ancient times? Who has told it from that time? Have not I, Yudhe-Wahbe Beth Nu Sophia Yudhe-Wahbe? And there is no God else besides me, a just God and a Savior. There is none beside me. Look unto me and be saved, all the people of the earth. For I am God, and there is none else. I have sworn by myself, the word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return. That unto me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear. Surely shall Yudhe-Wahbe Beth Nu Sophia Yudhe-Wahbe say, in Yudhe-Wahbe have our righteousness and strength. Even to him shall men come, and all that are incensed against Yudhe-Wahbe Beth Nu Sophia Yudhe-Wahbe shall be ashamed. In Yudhe-Wahbe Beth Nu Sophia Yudhe-Wahbe shall all the seed of Israel be justified and shall glory. Thus far, we are learning that our holy feasts teach many divine lessons, such as obedience to the will of Yudhe-Wahbe will set us free to become righteous rulers with eternal life, having full access to the tree of life. Our holy feast teaches us how we got into difficulty in the past and the solution, why we are in difficulty today and the solution, and how to never get into difficulty again. It is so striking to realize that our holy feasts are designed cryptically for us to ascertain, to find out definitely, learn with certainty or assurance, to determine, to establish, to identify, to discern, to apprehend, to grasp, to understand and come to know, to learn about, to acquire knowledge of and discover by seeing, observation, care, recognition, and instruction. Our holy feasts reveal the nature and the character of Yudhe-Wahbe, which we are to imitate, according to Matthew chapter 5, verse 48. This knowledge comes from the Hebrew word yada, Yud, Daled, Ayin, and means how Yudhe-Wahbe becomes known, makes himself known, how Yudhe-Wahbe causes you to know him, how Yudhe-Wahbe becomes familiar, how you are to become familiar with the knowledge of Yudhe-Wahbe, to be aware of Yudhe-Wahbe, to witness the appearance of Yudhe-Wahbe. And the knowledge from the word yada, it means to causes you to be informed of Yudhe-Wahbe and how Yudhe-Wahbe announces himself, how Yudhe-Wahbe reveals himself, who and why you are appointed important Hebrew roots in the Old Testament, it expresses a broad variety of meanings about various types of knowledge which are gained through the senses as experienced through our holy feasts. That's why we have real things to do, such as drinking wine. It's a physical thing that we do, but that which we ingest and take in and imbibe is to take a lesson, a spiritual lesson, into our minds, which is to inflame our intelligence, intellectual understanding, not from the use of the excess or abuse of wine, but the process, to understand the spiritual process that you must actually take this within yourself. Yada describes Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh's knowledge of man. Almighty Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh said, "Shall I hide from Abraham that thing I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, to do justice and judgment, that Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh knew face to face in all the signs and the wonders." Listen to that carefully. Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh knew Moses face to face in all the signs and the wonders which Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land, and in all that mighty hand, and in all the great terror which Moses showed in the sight of all of Israel. For Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh knows the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. Before Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh formed me in the belly, Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh knew me. And before I came forth out of the womb, Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh sanctified me. And Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh ordained me a prophet unto the nation of Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, and unto all the nations of the earth. Our holy feasts are designed to enhance our skill in learning, because our people are not keeping the laws of their God, Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh. They suffer a terrible spiritual blindness. For Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh has poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes. Even the prophets and your rulers, the seers, has he covered. That deep sleep was poured upon Adam. He never recovered. Until my coming do you recover. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, your philosophers and your PhDs, saying, "Read this, I pray thee." And he says, "I cannot, for it is sealed." Then the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, "Read this, I pray thee." And he says, "I am not learned. I can't read it because I'm not learned." Wherefore, Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh says to you today, "For as much as this people draw near to me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid." Our holy feast teaches us that we must be able to distinguish yada, yud, dalet, ayin, between right and wrong. An example is when Yud He Wav He said, "You shall not eat of the tree in the midst of the garden, neither shall you touch it, lest you die." Then the serpent came and said unto Eve, "You shall not surely die, for Yud He Wav He knows that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as God, knowing good and evil." The example in this verse shows us that Eve either could not distinguish between right and wrong, or that she willfully chose wrong. Eve had a knowledge of the law because she quoted the law when Lucifer, that old serpent, came to her. Eve had a choice to believe Yud He Wav He or Satan, and she chose to believe that old serpent called the devil. Yud He Wav He said, "If you eat of the tree in the midst of the garden, you shall die." Lucifer lied and said, "You shall not die." We witnessed the first battle for the mind. Freedom to choose right and live. Or the first battle of the mind to choose wrong and die. Lucifer indicated that he was aware of knowledge possessed by Yud He Wav He that Eve did not know. She did not demand proof from Satan. The devil appealed to Eve's carnal desire to see what Yud He Wav He forbid, to be as God, described by Lucifer, to know evil, and to challenge death as a daredevil, to ignore the one who created her and follow a deceiver. There's something very mysterious about this tree, because when the woman saw intellectually, when she perceived intellectually, when this woman began to experience in her mind the ideas and the pictures that Satan was drawing for her, when she began to experience those ideas and suggestions and words in her mind, when she took the time to learn the words that Lucifer was presenting to her, she began to enjoy the idea of what Lucifer presented to her. And this caused her to move to a position to trust Satan. She began to imitate the ways and thoughts of Satan in her mind. She began a deep intercourse with Satan. And after all of these various mental experiences, then the woman saw what Lucifer was talking about, that the tree that was forbidden was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes. And she began to see, after looking at this intellectually and to experience in her mind and took the time to learn what Satan was talking about, instead of rejecting him and resisting him, and she began to enjoy the idea of becoming a god. Then this tree, she said, boy, this is something to be desired, to make one wise. Then she took of the fruit. She took it. He didn't force it on her. She wasn't forced to eat it. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat. was not satisfied to just eat this herself and go on and get her curses. She then ran and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And of course, no one forced him to eat. He listened to her, and since she had all these experiences, she came back and explained all her experiences and what she had learned in her mind, and how she enjoyed the ideas of being God's, and how she trusted Satan and his beautiful, wonderful words, and she began to imitate his ways and things. So she went and put all that on Adam, put all his ways and everything right on him. And he ate. Our holy feasts are teaching us to pay close attention to every word concerning this tree. Lucifer exhibited some powerful propaganda to tempt the woman away from the clear commandment of Yud-He-Wah-He. Lucifer convinced the woman, which is a euphemism, a substitute expression, to be a willing tool to ravage. Lucifer convinced the woman to be a willing tool to devastate. Lucifer convinced the woman to be a willing tool to help him destroy the kingdom of heaven, the Garden of Eden, the rulership of Adam. Lucifer convinced the woman to be a willing tool to ruin Adam. Adam is a euphemism, a substitute expression, which means the Adamites. Now, we're going to take a close look at this tree. This requires concentrated study, and it requires concentrated research, and it is absolutely cryptic. What is so fascinating about the study of tree in Hebrew is that, first of all, it leads you into a dead end. And even when you go into the New Testament about it, it just leads you to a dead end. And unless you are determined or have divine knowledge that there's something mysterious about this tree and something very special about it, you will not continue to study and to drive yourself beyond the point of what appears to be dead ends, and then finally receive that delicious reward that comes from diligent, concentrated research. And that is to all subjects, but at this moment I'm relating that to the tree, because there are many like this. First of all, a tree in Hebrew is eight. Sounds like eat, but it sounds like the past tense of eat, which is eight, with an S. Tree in Hebrew is eight, which is ayin tazadi sofit. And it comes from the root ostisar, which is ayin tazadi hay. And guess what it means? It means to fasten or make firm. That is, to close the eyes shut. To close the eyes shut. That's what this tree is defined as meaning. Something to close the eyes shut. Now remember what Lucifer told Eve. He said, when you eat from this tree, it will cause your eyes to be opened. And the Bible says, indeed, her eyes were opened all right, but not in the form in which would be spiritual and divine for eternal life. They were open to something other than the tree of good, the tree of eternal life. Therefore, it was opened unto the ways of death, the ways of pleasure. And the scriptures teach us that a woman who lives for pleasure is dead while she lives. Now, in Daniel, when we look at tree, it's the Hebrew word ayil, which is ayin yud lamed, ayil, which means strength. Hence, anything strong or is defined as a chief politically. or a mighty man. Now here we are seeing all of a sudden that tree is not something that an apple grows on that we were taught in Sunday school, but here we see that this tree is talking about some kind of man that's mighty. Certainly Lucifer is a mighty man, one who would challenge Yudewape himself. And it's a political chief, a political ruler, political employer. And it comes from the Hebrew word all, aleph, wav, lamet, all. And this is really an unused root. It exists. But in order to hide the truth from you, deep research shows that this is an unused root for the word tree. And it means to twist. Think about it. It means to twist. What is this tree going to twist? It's going to twist the tree of truth. It's going to twist truth. It's going to twist all that's good. And all who eat from it will become masters of twisting the truth, twisting what is good. They will call good evil, sweet bitter, light dark, good bad. People are running around saying a car that you think that's a good car, they don't say it's a good car. They say that's a bad car. A woman that they love and that they say look good, that's a bad woman. A house that they admire and that they would like to purchase, that's a bad house. A suit that they want to wear, a dress that they want to wear, and that they think is the most beautiful, gorgeous dress would make them worshipped on earth. They say that's a bad dress. Those are some bad threads. Have twisted, made what is good bad. Another, when we get to the New Testament and search out tree, we find that one of the main definitions for a tree in the New Testament is an imitation of. So here, the tree of good and evil is an imitation of the tree of life. In no way does it have life. It has death. So if it's an imitation, it can't give you life. But just to discover that it's an imitation. Certainly wouldn't be the apple that they taught us in Sunday school that Eve ate from a tree. If she did eat, she ate that which was imitation. So we see in the Greek, that's ex ulon, means from another form. It's fuel for the fire, fuel. Ex ulon in Greek, tree is fuel. Not anything but fuel. It's not for fruit or anything, it's fuel. No wonder Yahweh said it would be the fire this time. And that the evil and corrupt tree should be cast into the flame of fire to be burned and destroyed. It begins to make sense with this knowledge. Another meaning for a tree in the New Testament in the Greek language is exestes, X-E-S-T-A-C-E in Greek, which means to smooth, and it's of friction. It means to boil or heat. And listen carefully now. Ecstasy means a vessel fashioned by corruption. That's what tree means. In Greek, a vessel fashioned by corruption. What a shock. So anyone who eats of the tree of good and evil becomes a vessel fashioned by corruption. From the time you were born, watching television, in school, grade school, high school, junior high, college, any institution, you are nothing but a vessel being fashioned by corruption. Even when you get what you think is a good education, you're just becoming good as a vessel fashioned by corruption. Another meaning for a tree in the Greek language of the New Testament is called Kaleos, Kaleelehayos. Guess what it means? Cultivated, domesticated. You are becoming You are a cultivated people. For these last 5,996 years, you've been domesticated. You know what that means? Tamed for their use. That's clearly the meaning of the word. Ayos. Now, another meaning for tree in the Greek language is leon, means better than many. In what way? Another meaning for tree in the New Testament in the Greek language is kalos, Kalos, and it means beautiful, but chiefly good. See, it didn't say all the way good. Beautiful, but chiefly good. Mostly good. That is valuable or virtuous for appearance. Here it's clearly saying for appearance, not for real, but see, that's why the tree of good and evil it appears good and evil, because it has to have these qualities for appearance sake of being valuable and virtuous, and thus it is distinguished from that which is intrinsic. Better is distinguished from that which is fair, good, goodly, honest, meet, well, or worthy, which are spiritual qualities. So it appears to have all of these qualities now of being better and fair. This tree of good and evil has these qualities of looking better, looks fair, looks good, godly, looks honest. The education of the tree of good and evil looks meet and well and worthy, which are spiritual qualities. And it says without necessarily being benevolent. Check that out. If it's really good, it would be benevolent. But this tells you that according to this Greek word, that they understood when they wrote it, that they're talking about the tree of good and evil, but their job was to make it cryptic and hide the truth from you so that you would continue to be a vessel fashioned by corruption. But anyone who is seeking salvation, who understands that all of your education at the hands of your enemy and at the hands of the gods of this world, all over the planet Earth, no matter what your nation, no matter what school you're attending, you are all fashioned by corruption. That's the nature of this world's education. So that you can be ruled over it. If you have any sense, you would leave that and give it up. But you think it's great because you see technology used. And since you're groomed from the tree of good and evil to become materialist, then you go for that type of education. Because that appears good to you, just as it did to Eve 5,996 years ago. So under the New Testament, tree in Greek and eat, this tree comes under another name called agathos, Agathos. It's a primary word meaning good in any sense, benefit, goods, and things. Now this tree represents see, I have to give it all to you, slow down a little bit. This tree in the Greek language, agathos, means goods, material goods, and things, material things. So this is the first revelation of materialism as relates to this tree. Remember, this is not something I'm making up. This is something that is researched, verified. You can verify it by your studies, just as I am. You can look these words up in the Greek language and in the Bible, concordance, etc., all the tools I've given you, just as I have done. It just requires a great deal of diligence if you want to try to find it. I've found it for you. You can go back and verify it. Fine. In the meantime, you have it. Another definition for tree in the Greek language is agreeios, Agreeelahys. One word. Agreeios. And guess what it means? Wild. W-I-L-D. Wild. Speaks of an olive tree, but which is wild. So here's a tree that produces wild people. Yet they speak of cultivation. They cultivate you to become wild. Agrios is another Greek word. It means wild. Agrios, wild, as pertaining to a country. Also means fierce and raging. That's what this tree is. It's fierce. Represents fierce and raging. A country which is wild, fierce, and raging. The people in the country are wild, fierce, and raging. And all who eat of this tree of good and evil become wild, fierce, and raging. And that's what you see going on in our country and in the earth today. Wars, rumors of wars, destruction, panic, chaos, hunger, sorrow, tears, death. It's all defined right here, clear. But you never thought to look it up. I've done it for you. Now you can come and study it and go into greater details. Then I have time to do so here. I don't have the time. I'm suffering from a constraint of time. But I put you on the path, and I give you the clear facts. And I reveal the sons of perdition. I'm revealing Satan, that old serpent from his beginning with you in the garden. And our holy feast teaches us these things. That's what they teach, what I'm sharing with you. Our holy feast teaches us that every man at the beginning does set forth good wine. And when men have well drunk, gotten drunk, then the wine which is worse is served. Hey, why waste good wine? You can't taste it and appreciate it anyway. You're too drunk to appreciate good wine. It doesn't make any difference what you take in. That's what that message is. Our holy feast teaches us to have respect for others. Now, we're going to take a look for a second at the word eat. The word eat. And it means to refresh the inner man. It means to show enthusiasm for. We get that from the Old Testament and the New. To show enthusiasm for, to take pleasure in, to believe without question. That's what the tree of good and evil does. It teaches you to believe without question. That's how Lucifer came to Eve. He came to her in such a manner, approaching the law. Did not Yahweh say, "Thou shalt not eat of the tree in the midst of the garden"? Then Eve went on and told him all about it. You see? And when he got through talking smoothly about what Yahweh said, and then he was able to beguile her and speak directly against what Yahweh said. And she believed him without question. Once she began to entertain his ideas, entertain his ways, entertain and experience in her mind his ideas. Once she did that, his whole game plan is that you trust him and believe him without question. And that's the way you go to school. He teaches you to question within the spectrum of his circle, not to question him as the authority, not to question the source of his information. He teaches you to go to the library, and when you do a paper, he requires you to do a bibliography and to give credit to some author. Who is the author? A writer from the tree of good and evil, one who are already a descendant of Lucifer. Not just this angel, but actually a descendant of Lucifer. Luciferian thought and mindset. You accept them as the authority without question. You're taught not to question beyond the authority. If you don't like this particular writer or author, then you go and get another author. But you must get some author that you quote from for your paper, your thesis, your dissertation, your term paper. And then you are to believe without question. If you question him, you just pick another one. So you end up still being a vessel groomed for corruption, fashioned for corruption. And eat means to believe without question. Believe Lucifer without question. And food, of course, meant food for thought. So that's a spiritual thing. So right away we see that it was an intellectual thing going on in the garden, not somebody eating an apple like they paint on pictures. That's a known open deception, like Santa Claus and the reindeer flying in the air. Now the next shock is, and I mean shock, eat means word, W-O-R-D. In your deep research, it tells you when you're studying eat, it says see word. You have to go to the Hebrew on word. Imagine that. What a shock. So now you see, it's not just eat as you think about food. You're talking about eating, consuming, taking in words that are food for thought. Now, what is the word? According to all this information given in the scriptures, it's a unit of language, speech or talk, especially when insincere. Eat in relationship to this tree means especially a speech or talk that is especially insincere or vacuous. A warrant, assurance, or promise, he made many. It's defined as news. And you know what kind of news they give you? It's all negative. Information. Information is always false. A verbal signal. Now, when it comes to the word from the tree of life, it's not just called word or just called eat. It's called the word of Judewape, the word of God. It's called logos, or the message of the gospel of Judewape. And in that side, from the tree of life, it's referred to accept someone's promise or assertion as sincere or true, but at the same time, Yahweh gives you proof of what he has always done in the past and what he's doing now, and that's why you can trust him in the future. Satan never gave any promises of anything except falsehood. Now, a further definition of word is defined as a word gain, which equals skill at changing the truth. I almost went into shock as I began to see that this is actually written in black and white. Skill at changing the truth. It's further terms are name, expression, ideogram. Word is defined as hieroglyphic, linguistics. Word is defined as morpheme and etymon. Word is described as symbol, representation, and sign. Word is also defined as pledge, or a solemn word, or word of honor, or guarantee. Word is defined as tidings and report. Word is defined as communication, accounts, and data, and intelligence. Lowdown, and get ready for this one. Dirt. D-I-R-T. You notice that the gods of this world, the rulers of this world, those who control television, they always are printing the dirt, publishing dirt on somebody's character, something low. Word is also defined as order, command, and dictate, dictum, and instruction. This is what is received from this tree of good and evil. Direction, behest, ultimatums, commandments, will, and prescripts, and prescriptions, and ordainment. Word from the tree of good and evil is defined as rules and laws and edicts, mandates and proclamations. So you don't have Yahweh's laws, you have man's laws. And admonitions, injunctions, charges, exhortations, and bidding. Words from the tree of good and evil are also defined as addresses and phrases, utterances, descriptions, and terms and style. Now, the next shock of word is the term wordplay. Now, this is actually used by Satan, by Lucifer, and was used by Lucifer in the garden upon Eve. And she learned this. She took this into her mind, and she learned this and really used all of this, what I'm about to share with you, on Adam. Now, here's what Lucifer used on, he used wordplay on Eve, which means he equivocated. And to equivocate means to use ambiguous or unclear expressions, usually to avoid a direct answer or in order to mislead. Now, we know he certainly succeeded. So Satan was the master of equivocation and taught Eve how to become an equivocator. And this tool is used upon us right today. Oh man, it's going to be hard. It's going to be used upon us, and it's being used upon us from little children right now. Now, another wordplay game from the tree of good and evil is paronomasia. 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 Spelled P-A-R-O-N-O-M-A-S-I-A, which means a play on words or a pun. Now, what is a pun? A pun is described as the humorous use of a word or a combination of words so as to emphasize different meanings or applications, or the use of words that are alike or nearly alike in sound but different in meaning, which is a play on words. To make puns is to mistreat words. Now, I was never taught this in school. I worked my way all the way through a master's degree, went to law school, and I was never taught this about words. You were not either. But Satan and his descendants have full knowledge of what I'm saying here. And they use it every day, and the journalists use it every single day. Another wordplay or another game described for words or eat from the tree of good and evil is an anagram. An anagram is the transposition of the letters of a word or phrase to form a new word, and becomes an anagram is the new word that is formed from transposition of letters or words or phrases. Change it right in your face, and you don't know what that means. Another word is acrostic, A-C-R-O-S-T-I-C, which is a series of written lines or verses in which the first, the last, or other particular letters form a word or a phrase. The alphabet, etc. Acrostical, it means deliberately forming an acrostic, in which the first, the last, and other particular letters form a word, and that's a secret from you. Thus cryptography, cryptology is being used on you here. Another game from the tree of good and evil is word squares, where that's a set of words such that when arranged one beneath another in the form of a square, they read alike horizontally and vertically. Some of these things are kind of used like tricks for little games for you to play, but you're not taught the secret of word squares and how they're formed. And another one that they use in your face from the tree of good and evil, and remember, this research leads directly. This is not something I'm making up or putting together. This is directly from the research here, is put before the public on a daily basis, and you've never known this from the tree of good and evil, is the crossword puzzle. Yes, crossword puzzle. You've never studied that. You may have played with crossword puzzles, but you've never understood what it is. A crossword puzzle is to dramatize a lesson to Lucifer, Satan, the devil, the descendants of Cain, that to dramatize a puzzle. A puzzle is in which words corresponding to numbered clues or definitions are fitted into a pattern of horizontal and vertical squares so that most letters form parts of two words. A puzzle is a contrivance. A puzzle is a plan or scheme designed to amuse by presenting difficulties to be solved by ingenuity or patient effort. You've never been taught to do it, to create puzzles as for a purpose with a plan and a scheme designed to take the possession of another, because that's what Lucifer succeeded in doing to Eve and Adam. He got them kicked out of their possession of the Garden